Hey, there I am. All right. So we've been working on a command line interface for quite a while now. Let's see where we're at. So to obtain this or anything that you'll see, go to hacks.psu.edu or hackstheweb.org. You'll learn more about the project, but if you get npm and you want to install this global command of hackstheweb/create, then you can start using the CLI tool you'll see here. This can let you go from nothing to published on surge.sh rather quickly, as will be demonstrated. So this is a combination of a CLI tool for managing a content management system, as well as replacing tool sets like OpenWC for building web components. Why replacing? We're taking a lot of the best practices and conventions from that project, optimizing for publishing on Vercel directly, as well as tying into the larger HAX ecosystem via the docs. So when I type HAX start, we get a motivational quote, and then it asks what we want to do. So I'm going to make a new site. This site will live in the folder that I'm currently working in, and my site name is going to be CLI tutorial. You don't need a hyphen, but I'll just add one for fun. It knows that I'm BTO Pro by detecting my Git username. It could be blank for you. And then default is to launch the project on creation. So let's go with that. So we'll see that Merlin runs on the terminal. And then after a few seconds, our site will open. It's giving me lots of different options as far as, hey, here's ways to get to this at a later point in time. If you want to launch it even without the tooling, you can do that just via the npx command for running the Node.js version directly. So as we can see here, we have our little tutorial site initially produced. I can go in and edit using the HAX editor, delete these blocks. Right, maybe I want to put in a code sample block. And maybe in that I want to tell you to run what I just did before, which is npm -- global install. Actually, you know what? I like putting first. Install global at hackstheweb/create, and then it's HAX start. More fun commands though. So some other things you can do is you can shortcut. You don't have to have the interactive CLI like I just showed a second ago. So you could do HAX site, and then if we name a site like my site --y--node-i, this is going to just set the site up for you. If I wanted to then, so let's do, right, so if we now wanted to go into that site, it would be cd my site, obviously. And then after that, let's add a page. And so the way I would add a page is HAX site node :add --title page --content my content. Now, obviously, we're not going to be adding paragraph tags and things on the command line, but just demonstrating these capabilities, right? So I have my HAX site. I can go in, I can edit things, change the settings, tweak the theme to be one of our other themes, which we'll have more coming out shortly. Let's move it over to the learn theme, which doesn't let you collapse that side column, right? I could add more pages to it, what have you. Right, all things we've shown before. I can go to Merlin, I can go to the magic file wand, and I can throw any file up there that we want. Let's do letterhead. Sure. There we go. This little university letterhead thing. Right, so I could save that page, and then we can reload this page. Okay. But this is all running locally, so the command line interface popped this up for me. So let's close that out, and then over here I'm going to undo that process, right? So as I mentioned in the little thing, now I can go CLI tutorial, and now if I write HAX site, or actually I could just do start again, it has detected that we are within the context of a site. As a result, you get new commands. Darn near anything you can do in the CLI. And then some. So if I want just stats, let's say I want stats on the CLI tutorial page. I want to see that, let's see its details, right? So here is the data of that page. But let's say I wanted to get into, sure, CLI, oops, I hit the button too many times. Let's go into a tutorial and let's get that back as Markdown. So that took the page and converted it to Markdown and just sent it back to me into the terminal. If I start to learn the commands, I can just write them. So it's like HAX site, because I'm in the context of a site. And the command, I'm going to do an operation to a node, :add. And that added a new page. All right, so if I want, similar in the CI, if I just want to do that, or in the UI rather, if I did title awesome page, it's going to make a new awesome page. If I don't want it to drop back into that, I can say no I at the end of it, or we just do --y, right? So we can just keep adding awesome pages to this site very quickly, so that then when we do HAX site start, right, which again goes right to the start command, we'll launch over here, right? I've got all of my awesome pages. Now, there's no content in these awesome pages, obviously, but we can start to populate content from other sources. So let's see some of the ways that we could use this tool. So if I did node :edit, right, I can go to awesome page, and it'll give me the UUID of that awesome page. I could just go and say, let's modify the title in this case. I wanted to. I feel like I pre-populated that somehow. There we go. So made it awesome things. So if I stop my server, so I have to do HAX site start. I have like a sticky enter key or something here. There we go. So it renamed that page to awesome page things. Okay. So let's open another window here, just so we have this running over here. Okay, so let's do HAX, and then now that I have the ID of that item, I can skip aspects of the CLI. So really, these things are for automation purposes, artificial intelligence, running large automated builds. So HAX site. So I'm in a site. I'm going to do node edit, and then we'll do --item-id. So now that means I'm going to be editing that thing, which will skip in the CLI, right? And it goes right to the node operations of that. But let's say that we passed --node-op title, and then we did title. All right. So if that is to be believed, I should be able to refresh, and now it should be. Thought I had the title right. Node op title. Edit page. Awesome things. Title. I should be able to skip to the node operation title. Let's see if there's sometimes we get into some quoted items issues here. Oh, there we go. We got a stuff there. Okay. So obviously I got some cleanup to do on that part, but I can at least jump to this piece. So let's see if I can't get content to work. All right, so that should have updated stuff and things. Is that what I just typed? It is what I just typed. Oh, it was working before. I was looking at the wrong page. Yep. Okay. All right. So, I scripted that operation to change the node title, the operation, right? And it's highly readable. HAX site edit item, this big ID. Node operation, we're modifying the title, and we want the title to now be this. So let's do help on that because I can't recall all the operations at the moment. Item import. We can do item importing. We can do content. Yes, now I recall what the command is. So we can do content, right? So the node op is content. And if we say content, okay, this is going to set the content. It should be now stuff. All right. But let's do something we can't do in the UI here. Right? I want the content to come from somewhere else entirely. So let's say that we wanted it to come from there we go, my course that I teach. So this is Markdown. It has the outline of the course that I teach. I sort of update this week to week, what have you. So I'm going to copy that address. This is Markdown, all right? And now instead of content being that, we are going to throw this link in. And then we're going to say -- format MD for Markdown. And that took that Markdown file, remotely loaded it, converted it to HTML, and then updated this page's content. This is completely disconnected from that, right? I can go delete, do whatever I want to this page. It's its own little thing here now. Awesome, right? So let's kick that up a notch then, right? I can do Markdown, I can do HTML, right? And so as long as I can point to some HTML file somewhere, right, I should be able to do those operations. Now I need to find my scrape command. I can't remember the scrape command. Let's see if we can't write it because I need to document the scrape command, obviously. All right, so the node op is going to be content, and then -- content. We're going to pass into this. Let's go to usg.edu. All right, and let's find a news article. There's the one I wanted. The Office of Digital Learning creates a new platform to simplify website creation. Interesting. So this will just go and get all the content, right? And that's not necessarily what we want in this case. So what we want to do is do content scrape, which I believe is the name of it. I'm going to cheat for a second here, only because I haven't written down all these commands for these really deep commands in here. All right, so let's find the scrape. Content - scrape is the name of it. I'm surprised that argument doesn't show up, to be perfectly honest. It's a little weird. It's written here. It says it's the operations for site. Anyway, I think I see what it is. There we go. Fixing for later. Items import is, there's item import. Yeah, content scrape, title scrape. Let's throw these down here. This will be for future me. There we go. It just wasn't showing up in the help. It does work. All right, so content scrape. And then content scrape needs to be given an identifier in this page. So let's say we inspect and we find, oh, look, there's an ID that perfectly encompasses the body of content of this page. So we're going to do that. Okay, claims to have successfully updated. Just took the news story. That's not what we want. We do want the content to come from there. And then I was nearly positive it's content scrape, right? Let's see, because this absolutely works. Content scrape. All right, content scrape. And we look look in the options. Title scrape. No, that's on the other one. Yeah, content scrape. Oh, I feel like we have to pass an on. Yeah, yep. Okay, so as part of this, I have to say the format is HTML. Okay, makes sense, but again, we need to thoroughly document these things. All right, so if I pass that in and then I say -- format HTML, there we go. So that took that article, scraped it, and then just gave me the contents, and now that is the content of this, right? The amount of scripting that you can rig up with this is a little ridiculous, right? Once we start to document what all these commands are. In fact, some of the more internal ones that we've showcased, what was it? There's like a book one. I'm gonna have to find the command amongst my chat log with a coworker because I constructed a very specific one. We could actually build full sites using this this type of approach if we have the right importer in place. So over the years, we've written importers for a whole bunch of different ways of doing business. Here we go. Okay, so there's what it is. So I'm going to make a new site here, and we're going to paste. And so reading this command, this is able to read off of, it's not specific to this media, of course, but it's able to read off of the Drupal 7 book module. And so Drupal 7, something that's going out of date as far as security releases, right? A lot of people trying to come up with how to move things off of it. So this is able to scrape this structure, and because it is well formed, this is just the print view of the site. So the site looks like this, and we've got, lesson 5 or whatever, and it's got some pages underneath of it. Cool. All right, and a huge part of these discussions of tools comes down to like, how are we going to actually move these things? And so I want to move this, but make it look like the Polaris Invent site. Okay. That might take a little bit. It is like 100 some pages. And my fans are starting to kick up. It's probably a good sign. So let's stop this other server process so that this little thing can run here for a second. All right, so the CLI's goals is to be able to be on parity with older tools like Drush in the Drupal ecosystem. WordPress has a similar WP style command system. Anything that you can do clicking through the buttons, you should be able to do in a scripted manner. And fortunately, in this system, you're not like enabling modules and stuff, although we could easily start to get into that world as far as what blocks you're enabling and disabling in that way for users. So because we're able to click the buttons really rapidly, if you will, under the hood, right, this is going to go and get that file, is going to walk through that file, and then it's going to turn it into like 100 some odd pages, set the content appropriately on all of those pages, create the structure for a brand new site, and then it's going to launch right now. And it's going to seem like it was magic or that there was a ton of engineering to achieve this, but there wasn't. There it is. There was a ton of previous engineering, but for this specific import methodology, very little. So this is that entire site, page titles and everything grouped appropriately, right? If I wanted to take this, remix it, break it apart, as is the nature of open education, where we do a lot of our work, right? Maybe I don't want lesson 1, and I can just bulk do those operations, right? I could do those on the front end. I could do that sort of behaviors on the back end. It shouldn't matter where I need to execute these routines, right? I'm just manipulating content. Again, it's my computer is not super happy about having this massive site that it just imported as it's churning through in the background. So let's look at publishing, right? So I have my little CLI tutorial site. So we could do HAX site start. All right, let's fire that up. Okay, so we've got our CLI tutorial, we've got our awesome pages, right? And we've got that stuff and things. Let's delete a couple of these, sure. All right, just to prove we can still do those operations on the front end, which we can. We've got our little letterhead on that page or whatever. Okay, so what we're gonna do, actually, I'll delete that part. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna try to publish this, all right? So we can do HAX site, and then it's site:surge. And surge is a tool for static publishing and throwing sites up very quickly. So if you don't have it installed, it'll ask you to install it, and then it'll go in and do it. Or it'll attempt to install it, I should say. It's a free tool. There we go. It's already published. And then if I go to this address, which I'll include in the video, then there is our little CLI tutorial with this in question. Now we are going to actually start to use this tool to publish real working tutorials as opposed to these like not hacky, but half-baked ones for demonstration purposes. So to illustrate that it's going to